Breathe out. Too low. 1, 2, 3, close my eyes. Breathe in, breathe out. Yes, I will catch you. Good morning. Good morning. Hello, hello. I ended up sleeping in this morning, so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do a little stitching before I make breakfast. I never sleep in, and I slept until almost 8:20. That's exciting. In my opinion, two-handed stitching is so much faster. And my arms don't get as sore, especially working on larger projects. I do one-handed when I'm working on smaller projects still. Hello, hello! Oh, thank you for the follow. What? What? No, you're not going outside. Quit it. You're not going out. Domino, quit. I am working on the rainbow evolutions. This is what I'm working on. So I'm still doing black work up in that. Oh, thank you. I love whenever I find other people that are stitching when I am. I had a couple people last night that were stitching with me too. Yeah, apparently those... Are you working on like the epic Pokemon one? Yeah, and see, Vaporeon is my sister's favorite Pokemon, and I've already stitched 2 different solo ones for her, but I was like, when I got sent this pattern, I was like, oh my gosh, she will love that. Domino, stop! You're not going out. Goodness. We couldn't for the life of us get us to, for him to go outside. We've been trying to introduce him to going on walks. We bought a harness to take him out on, and he would not go outside. He hated it. So it's like, okay, well, I made him go outside anyways. And now he's just, he wants to go outside 24/7, and like he was clawing at me to not bring him back in the last time. So I was like, that's cool. See, I do a lot of my stitches for gifts, and this is a lot of black work, but I'm already, let me see. So I started, it was, I think, over 8,000 stitches on this one, and I'm down to 41, 42. So I'm done about half of the black work so far. It's just, you know, that top corner has all that black on it. I forgot to grab my scissors. Okay. Oh, that's awesome. I have one that I want to do for one of my other friends, and it's 3 cat butts. It's so cute. I just don't want to keep mine on me because of how sharp they actually are. I've almost cut myself multiple times with these because they're very, very sharp. But, I mean, it's still in arm distance. If it's not on my right side on my tray, it's on my left side right next to my water cup. Okay. Yes, for the longest time, I just, had the really cheapy scissors. They, were just kind of crappy. And I was like, you know what? I have invested in decent everything else. I might as well invest in some decent scissors too. And so I did. But I want to say I only spent maybe $10 on these, so it wasn't horrible. But they have made a world of difference since I mainly do pin stitching. And so cutting it on the front, I want to get it as close as possible so you don't see the little tail. That helps with the precision. I moved up because this was just the piece of thread that I was finishing from down here, so I can work my way back down again. I'm hoping to get a couple of 100 stitches done in an hour. Since it's mostly black through here, I figure I'll be able to do that pretty quickly. Yeah, if I'm going anywhere and I pack them, then I do have the tip that goes on them, so I don't have to worry about that. But if I'm just at home, I'm not gonna, put the tip on them every single time. Just because I feel like I'd be too lazy to put it back on and then I'd lose it somewhere. So I've got it in my drawer so I won't lose it. Excuse me. I had to move my cabinet over that I was using to put my stitch stuff on next to me so that I can fit this frame over here, but also because somebody kept knocking all of my stuff off of my cabinet because he wanted to sit there. So I ended up taking everything off of it so that he could have his own little spot. he also kept knocking off my books on my entertainment center because he wanted to sleep down bottom. And so he would crawl up in there and then push them off on the floor and then lay down to sleep. My mom just messaged me. And she was like, I unrolled this and I'm so confused where it came from. I gave this to her almost 2 years ago after I stitched it for her. And she didn't even remember where it came from. It is finished. I did that for you. Okay, that's so funny. You just have to frame it. That is so funny. And yet I am not surprised either. I've done so many for her over the years, and she'll be like, I don't know where I got this from. I'm like, the only kid that cross stitches, if you didn't do it, it was clearly me. She finally got one of my other sisters into it, and I got one of them, but she only does it like a few stitches here and there, probably a year. Hello, hello. You made it back again. Let's see. It was 1, 2. I love my mom to death, but she's crazy sometimes. That piece of thread that I was working on yesterday, I went ahead and finished it up down here this morning and then just moved back to the top. So that way I could work my way down again. I am good. I actually slept in this morning, so I've only been up for less than an hour. So I was like, I'm gonna get a little bit of stitching done, then make breakfast. My goal is for 200 stitches in an hour, and I've only been at it for about 25 minutes, and I'm at 56, so I may end up with just 100 instead of 200, but I think that was an 8x8, but I'm not 100% sure. I still can't believe it's been 2 years since I gave her that cross stitch and she's just now finding it in her stuff. I'm like, you know what? I guess I need to start framing them for her instead of just giving them to her, so that way all she's got to do is hang it up on the dang wall. when I was posting my pictures last night, I didn't even realize that I did over 500 stitches on that dragon bookmark to finish it up, because I hadn't been marking it off as I went, since it was all the same color. And so then whenever I marked everything off and to do my picture for the night, it said over 500, and I was like, oh wow, I didn't even realize. Re-dyed my hair last night, so my shoulders are sore this morning. I keep having to stop every few stitches and give my shoulder a break. It's all good. I get those all the time, especially during the work week. I'll just randomly get, work calls. I'm sitting at 68 so far. But I'm only going to stitch for another 30 minutes before I get up and do the stuff that I need to today. I have to... Oops, that did not go right. I have to go out of state tomorrow morning. So I've got to get all my laundry done, get everything packed, and get ready for the trip. Thank you for the follow. That's the best way to go about it. If it's, only one stitch, just work around it. I've worked around way more than that. Sometimes I'm like, I'm definitely just not fixing it. If it's not noticeable, nobody's gonna know. And then I just think about, nobody's gonna know. See, that's good. My mom always said she would fudge her way around it when she would mess up. Literally depends on me on whether what I messed up, if the color is the issue. So like if I did something in a color, and so say I did it in like a light blue, but it was supposed to be like a really dark brown or something, then I'll fix it. I just wanna know, chuck chuck. Yeah, I don't know if you had joined yet when I was showing this, but I did this for my mom a couple of years ago, and she just found it this morning, and she was like, it's not finished, and I don't have a pattern for it. I don't know where this came from. And I was like, I did that for you, and it's finished. I just think it's just so funny. I did that one for her because she kept telling me how much she loved the ocean, and it was about the time that they had went to Florida to go to Disney for the week with a big group of family. Her dad's side of the family, because she was an only child with my grandmother, but my grandfather had like 7 other kids. So he got all of the kids and their grandkids to go, except the grandkids on my mom's, just because they knew that none of us actually had the money to go. But she just kept talking about how she wanted to go back. So I was like, you know what? I'll find a pattern and I'll stitch her something that I know she'll like. But I can't believe she found it 2 years later. I'm not going to let her live that one down. Like, I rolled it up and wrapped it up and gave it to her. Crazy. I'm so insane, don't you wanna make me cry? Cry, Nope. Nope. Nope, nope. I caught that one fairly quickly. Because this was actually supposed to be here. There. And but I can't control my heart. No, no. Control. Don't you wanna make me cry? Get off there, Fuzzy. Let's see. Well, I may end up getting my 200 stitches that I wanted. Because once I get back across this row, I'm sitting at 95. Yay! See, a lot of people just do, like Whip Wednesdays and things like that. But see, with me keeping track of every day, I try and post when I do this stuff in the evenings. So, like, the only days that I don't do like an update video are the days that I actually didn't stitch. So if I don't write my days down, right then in my notebook, I at least have that progression picture that has my percentage and stitches on it. So that way I can go back and mark it down. Of course. It's really pretty. That one's going to be awesome when you finish it. Oh, good morning. You know what? It's not where that goes. I'm trying to skip one. And I'm not supposed to. Aw, thank you for the roses. I'm curious, is it Tamara or Tamara? Because I've known people that say it both ways. Oh, thank you for the repost. Ah, thank you for reposting. Tamra, okay. See, I get a lot of people that whenever I'm commenting, they call me Stein, and it's actually Steen because my name is Justine, and I just, my friends all call me Steen whenever they're texting me, so I just think it's funny, but I always answer to both. So sometimes when I'm unsure, I try and, ask to make sure I'm saying it properly. Okay. Another row done. Okay, and that was that one. Oops. So I'm sitting at 109. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, for the longest time, I actually went by my middle name, Renee, because I just kept getting called Justin in school all the time. I'm like, literally, there's an E on the end of my name. But I was constantly called Justin. And like whenever we had our senior pictures done in high school, they had the boys and the girls split up into days. And they put me down on the boys' day because somebody wrote my name down as Justin. The only reason that I ended up getting it done on the girls' day was because I had taken one of my friends to her slot, and they were like, we're not doing any girls tomorrow. And I was like, well, this is my time. And they were like, well, if you can go get ready and come back in an hour, we can just work through our lunch break to get you taken care of. So after that, I was just like, you know what? I went by Renee for a while. And then I got to where I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go by my name. And if somebody says it wrong, oh well, I don't care. I'm like, I'm old enough now that I can just get over it. Changa, changa. Another piece of thread down. I have one more that's pre-cut. So I think once I finish this piece, I may just go ahead and stop, even if I'm not up to my 200 stitches, because I probably won't be. But I figure not having to cut more thread is a good place to stop. I really need to invest in a needle threader. You can do it! I was hoping to get 200 stitches, but I gave myself a time frame instead of stitch count. So I've got 15 minutes, but it's not going to take me that long to finish this piece of thread. Yay, me too. It's my main craft. I do a little diamond painting. I still need to work on redoing a couple of the patterns that I've made. I saved them in the wrong format and I can't edit them. And so I'm having to redo them so that way I can go and fix some of the stuff that I found that I didn't like. Oh no! I really when, that happens. It's like, it's not your fault. But at the same time, you're like, yeah, it is my fault. I know I did that. That's my fault. But I blame it on being tired all the time. Even if I'm not tired, even if I'm wide awake and working on stuff, I made a mistake. It was because I was tired. No. Don't blame it on confidence, because confidence is knowing that you made a mistake, but that you can fix it or work around it. Mistakes are because you're tired. So they're not your fault. Hi, Lynn. Oh, thank you for the heart me. I've been using WinStitch and making patterns, and like I have used like websites before, so I used like Pictopat to make some of them, using pictures, and I'm just starting out using free domain clip art as kind of guides and working on making my own, but I wanted to make some of them a little more detailed, but because of the way I saved them, I can't go back and edit them, and it's frustrating. So I've just been redoing them. Thank you for the follow. So like, I can show you, I had to redo, I've redone 2 of them so far. Okay, where are they? Let me see. Because I want to show. So this is one of them that I made up, and then I ended up having to redo. So it wasn't hard to redo, because I mean it's really just simple. But I redid that one. I made this pattern myself. I was like, you know what? I had a thought about petty spaghetti, and I was like, okay, I've got to make a stitch for that one too. And I was cracking myself up. That one gave me fits though. Making the spaghetti actually look like spaghetti, that was the hard part. Even using a reference, for clip art, that one was a pain in the butt. And then this was the other one that I redid. Just super simple, but I mean, it's only got, I think, 8 colors, but making everything look kind of uniform was, oh, thank you, Lynn. That one was a little frustrating. See, it's always fun finding things that you want to try. So I finished that dragon bookmark yesterday just because I was really close to getting it finished. And I've got 4 other ones in the glove box of my car that are just the printed kits for whenever I'm not home and I can't stitch on my regular stuff. So like, since I'll be out of state, I'll have something to work on while I'm staying in the hotel room. But for the most part, I'm not going to say all the time anymore because I've gotten, a little more bold. But for the most part, I stick with one project and work on that until I'm finished. But I'm hoping, I've been working on getting stuff set up. I made a Patreon account and I'm wanting to be able to post my patterns for sale on there. I don't necessarily like selling on Etsy. I've done it, but I wasn't a fan of all of it, the way their stuff is set up. So I actually did something on a apron for a lady that I work with, and it's water soluble Ada. I bought the DMC brand because I was really afraid of buying a knockoff and it not working well. But you basically, you'll make stitches in the corners or whatever to tack it in place, and then you just stitch over it just like you would Ada, and then you wash it, and the water soluble Ada disappears, and so then all you have is the stitches on the clothing. I may even be able to show you, because I bought it off of Amazon. And so let me look just really quick. That way I can show you what I was looking for, what I used. It definitely, it was like, I think $8 for like 3 pieces, but I wasn't sure how it would work at first, but I was actually surprised at how decent it was. I'm not seeing the exact one, but it's something similar to this. The one that I used wasn't sticky, but I think sticky would be pretty decent too. But I just looked up water soluble Ada on Amazon and I was able to find it. But I did go with the DMC brand, which they may have it on the DMC website. It worked really well, but it did take a little bit of getting used to. But I made it for my boss. We work for American Greetings, and it's the rose, the red rose of our company logo. I stitched that on an apron and then stitched her name, her first and last name on either side of it. So that way she'd have one that she could use for work. I didn't throw it in the washing machine. I did it in the sink. I wasn't sure how to use it at first, so I wanted to make sure that, I could keep an eye on it. But she said that she's thrown the apron in the washing machine after the fact, and hasn't had any issues with it. And I feel that, like, I never had anybody that I could really talk to about it either. Just because really my mom was the only person that I knew that stitched, and she isn't good at answering questions. So if you ever have questions, shoot me a message. I'll answer if I can, or if I can't, I can generally shoot you in the direction of somebody that can. I do think that it would have been a little bit harder if it was like thinner fabric, but because the apron was thicker, I think that helped. But you will, if you're going through, material, you'll definitely want a sharper needle. Awesome, thank you. Yeah, it may work. Like I said, you'll probably have to, play with it a little bit. But I mean, once I figured out what I was doing, it really wasn't that hard. It's just more having a guide so that all your stitches look uniform. Let's see. Thank you for the follow. Yeah, I definitely suggest at least practicing on something that's the same type of material before you work on the one that you're actually going to use. Just to see. I do suggest a sharp needle though. I ended up having to buy some needles because, since I mainly just cross stitch, all of my needles are really blunt, but I did need one that was sharper to be able to go through the material as well. It's like the seam cutter. It's the really sharp, like, it's like got a really sharp tip. It's to pull out stitches. See, personally, I don't have one. I'm always afraid of cutting my Aida, so I always just use my scissors instead. But whenever I used to hand sew, I did have one that I used for whenever I would mess up my stitches and have to rip them out. Yeah, it's the same thing. Yeah, what I'll do if I have to use my scissors is I'll take my needle and I'll pull some of the thread up like this and cut, and then I'll just pull out some and then cut the thread and then go across more. I find that pulling it out with my needle ends up being a lot easier than trying to use the seam ripper. See, that's a lot of how I pull mine out too. But if I've already, tacked the row down and I'm, having to pull some of it out, I will use my needle and hold it up and cut at least one first before I work my way across. It's such a great community. I've made so many friends on here that are stitchers. Like this pattern was a gift from somebody that I met on TikTok. And I'm actually getting to meet him in person this week since I'm going to be, for work, I'm going to be close to where he lives. So me and my friend, she's going with me because we're also going to a concert after I work. And we're just going to meet up. He'll be the first person that I've met in person from TikTok. But I've made quite a few friends on here. The stitching community is awesome. Thank you for the follow. You should. I was really unsure about posting and, doing lives and stuff. My husband kept telling me, he was like, just do it, post your videos, go live. He's like my biggest supporter, constantly telling me, you should do a live, you should do this. Hey, don't forget to post a picture today. And it's how I've met so many awesome people and learned so many things about stitching that I didn't know. I feel like you'll never know everything. But like when I started posting on here, I didn't even know a lot of the terminology. I just knew I stitched. You guys should definitely post. It doesn't have to be cross stitch. Even just post, whatever. You meet more people that are into the same kinds of things you are. Like I love K-pop, and I have done a lot of K-pop stitches. So like I've, used pictures and made patterns and stitched some of the guys, that I really like. I have a wall in my bedroom that has some of my stitches of my K-pop guys. And I've done quite a few for my best friend. And I didn't realize that there were more people that also liked to cross stitch and liked K-pop. And so I've met people on here that are like, oh my God, a K-pop stitcher. I figured that was going to be one of those really niche things, but I've met multiple people. Yes, that's kind of where I started, was posting pictures for updates. And now, I'll do lives occasionally. I'll occasionally just post a video of me stitching sped up. I'm branching out slowly. My husband's been taking my TikTok videos that I do, and he's been posting them on my YouTube channel. He's like, we gotta spread you out more. I don't have a tripod, but I do have an arm that I have that holds my phone, and that's what I'm doing. yes, I have that. I have Patreon and Twitch, and they're all the same username that I have on here. So if you end up, looking for me, you can find me that way. It doesn't hurt to try and fix it. And if you can fix it, then great. But if not, then at least you tried. I watched somebody one day. I was like, oh my gosh, because it was a Chinese video, but they were working on Ada, and there was a hole in the Ada, and they actually, I watched them sew across the hole both ways to make their own stitches, or like their own Ada fill-in, and then just stitched over that. And I was like, oh my God, I have never thought about that. If I got a hole in my Ada, I would have just thrown it away and started a project on a different piece. I found that video on TikTok. I really wish I accidentally hit the back button. And so then, of course, it took it away. And so then I couldn't find the dang video again. But I was going to add it to my favorites because I was like, that is such a neat idea. Because they just made it, kind of lattice worked, just like Ada is. And I was like, oh my gosh, that is so freaking neat. I wish I had been able to with that one, because I was just floored at that. Then I was like, you know what? That's something that if I ever have that issue, I'm going to have to just, do a search on Google and see if I can find something similar to watch to do it. And I have spilled stuff on mine before, and thankfully every time it's happened, it's always been on an area that I was going to stitch over, so it ended up covering it up. I almost actually dropped my bowl of pasta on this one the other day because I tripped over my stand as I was coming to the couch, and I almost dropped it. I was like, oh my God, I can't do that. I cannot do that, because that would not be cool. Let's see. See, that's like, until I started doing pictures, I think I'm just going to pull this down and finish these stitches with this last piece. I'd never even thought about full coverage being a thing, or I had never thought about a cross stitch pattern not having back stitching, because I always did kits growing up. And so I always thought, to get those details, you have to have back stitching. You have to have, spaces. I didn't realize that full coverage was a thing, and you can still get the amount of detail without back stitching, because I hate back stitching. I don't like it. So this piece that I'm working on now, it's full coverage. There is no back stitch. But because the pattern is so big, you actually can see all of the details without having back stitching. no negative space at all. It's full coverage, completely all stitched. And so that's why you'll see a lot of the full coverage projects are more detailed, because you don't have to use back stitching to give the detail. Like, let me pull up I have a folder I have a craft folder that I can show you some of my full coverage projects that I've done. So like, this is a full coverage, no back stitching, but you can still see all of the details of the person. So, same with this one, it's full coverage. And like this one, this was a picture of my friend's cat that had passed away, and I stitched it for her. It's a lot of work, but in my opinion, full coverage gives you so much freedom to go way more detailed without doing back stitching, without doing like, I can't stand whatchamacallits. I can't even think of the term because I don't even use them. French knots. I just, I tend to stay away from patterns that have this stuff that I don't enjoy. So I do a lot more full coverage. So that's what this one is. I'm doing this one, but that's why the pattern is so large, is because it's full coverage. My mom taught me when I was younger, because I could never do French knots. Well, she's not good at French knots either. So she would buy seed beads of the colors that she was going to be using, or something similar at least to the color that she was going to be using, and just add those in to it instead of the French knots. And it's so much easier to work with the seed beads. Okay, so that's where I'm ending for today, though, because I went over by like 15 minutes, but that's because we were chatting. But this is what I'm at for today, and I almost made it to my 200 stitches. I'm at 187. So I'm sitting at, so overall, I'm sitting at 0.89% on this pattern. So I've not even hit 1% yet. I use bobbins, so I wind my thread on bobbins. But I can show you real quick why I wind my bobbins. Okay, I'm gonna get up and move. Let me back up a bit. So I wind my bobbins because I have my cabinet here that has all of the colors. So I've got 2 long drawers like this, and then I have 1 short drawer that has the rest of the colors. And so these are the colors that I'm going to be using whenever I get started down. It's going to start into these greens, so I pulled a few of the colors. But I also have my storage trays for my excess thread skeins too. It's taken me a couple of years to purchase everything that I wanted to get my setup the way I wanted it to. But it does make a difference having it set the way I wanted to. I can stitch a lot faster. But like for my I also bought a coffee table that has lift up space so that I can have my extra, like my Q snaps and stuff in it. I've got my diamond painting stuff down here. So it's a whole thing. It's taken me years, but I've made it the way I want it to, so I can actually do. See, that was the one that I finished yesterday, and I still have to do the backing on it. Okay, so let me find. So I don't actually do a whole lot. Are you talking about pulling from here specifically to just keep them like this? So you don't have to put them on bobbins? Okay. Let me pull my... I'm going to put you back on the stand for a minute. So I don't generally work this way just because it tends to knot up fairly easy if you leave it like this. So that's why I just wind them on my bobbins. But if you are going to, I suggest holding it with one hand securely so it doesn't pull up. But if you just, hold it one-handed and find that middle section, pull it until it gets to the length that you want, and then just cut it from there. So I always leave a little extra if I do that, so that way I have my tail that I know where I'm pulling from the next time around. But generally you'll be able to see one end, but it's going to be kind of on the inside, not the one that's on the outside. That's why I don't generally do it this way. That's why I have the bobbins, because I'll just, take that off of there and then I'll wind the whole piece on my bobbin. It definitely does knot a whole lot easier just pulling it from the skein this way. Even without doing like all of that, if you invest just in a package of just the plastic bobbins, they have like 1,000 count on Amazon. I think I paid $8 for it. The bobbins definitely help. But when I wind it, I always start at the top of my bobbin and work across one here, holding my end, and then I just wind it. They've got things that'll hold your bobbin that you can wind it. You just turn the thing and it winds it for you. But I find that doing it myself, it gives me a better chance to have that tension that I want. And so then I just wind it up. Occasionally it will end up knotting even doing that. But if you have it around your hand, like just wear it, it'll actually just, go around your arm as you're winding it. And so then it's less likely to knot up when you're doing it that way. But one thing of thread is generally like the perfect amount for a bobbin. So it definitely helps. But see, even with that, it still tried to knot up a little bit. So I try and catch it beforehand and just kind of loosen it up some and then go back to winding it the rest of the way. That's another one of those things that just takes practice, practice, practice. But then once I get to the end, then I just work my way around and then just lay it across the top of it to kind of secure it in place. But I'm going to head out now because I definitely need to eat. My stomach is growling. So, but yeah, one more time. This is where I'm sitting at as of right now. See you guys later. Thanks for joining me. And thanks for all the questions. And seriously, if you have any other questions, just shoot me a message. It's telling me no, I can't end my life.